morning. I'm Doug Schoen. I'm here with my friends and colleagues, Pat Cadell, a member of Political Insiders, and our player coach, Martin Hinton, who is our senior producer, our eminence grise, and also a occasional but valued member of the team when, as is today, John Laboutelier is on assignment in Laos. So I am going to begin. We had a spirited conversation last night at 7:30 on the Fox News channel with our host, Harris Faulkner, about a wide range of topics. And I'm going to begin today with Martin Hinton. You've been doing an enormous amount of work, Martin, on documentaries, particularly with regard to Benghazi. What have you learned, and what should the American people take away from the experience of that documentary and what it says about American foreign policy?
Well, the most recent documentary we did focused very specifically on a new book called 13 Hours, which is debuting at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. And it is the account of 5 men who were contracted by the CIA to provide security at the CIA annex. And
in Benghazi.
In Benghazi. And the book 13 Hours quite literally refers to the length of the battle. So what I learned is that they were delayed. Whether that delay was on the ground because there was a tactical decision being made or whether it came from higher up, they don't know. They tell a very specific story about their perspective. And these are trained observers, a former Army Ranger, 2 former Marines, one who has also been a police chief in a small town. So these people are paid to remember things well and be able to say what they saw. The day of September 11th, they saw no signs of unrest or protests, suggesting that this video that was initially blamed wasn't relevant in Benghazi, at least. They say things like the security at the, well, they all called it a consulate, and that's how it was referred to then, and then it became a diplomatic compound, I think is the phrasing. But they were a bit concerned, more than a bit concerned, about the level of security given the date, September 11th, and the visiting ambassador. He only had, I think, less than half a dozen diplomatic security personnel. So, and they were only armed with what's a quite lightly powered rifle in the M4. So they were worried. And what it's taught me is that we don't know the truth. Now, people argue about Benghazi being a big story or not story, and that's a conversation I'm not interested in having. What I know is that we don't know why things happen the way they happen there.
And what do you take away from what Martin just said, Pat?
Well, I saw the documentary, which is quite powerful, and in the 3 individuals that were on it, the 3 members of the 5. You know, you look at them, you listen to them. We all are able to discern whether or not we think people are credible or truthful. These guys struck me as very truthful. They didn't have a political agenda. They were telling the truth. We have a House committee led by Mike Rogers, who was one of the people with the Obama administration trying to smother the Benghazi investigations. And for whatever reasons, whether it's life or whether the arms trade, whatever, but they issued a report saying no one had been told to stand down. Well, this is the core, I think, of the hearing. I mean, for that night. Also, they said something else that was very powerful to me, that they begged for air power, just some show of air power, which would have made a difference. I think that it was compelling, and I think that it speaks to something. What I would like to do is have the 3 of those guys up there against the State Department people and watch that and let the American people make a judgment. Because my belief is they would say, is all about Benghazi. We've been lied to all along, and you raised a point last night, which you want to address, Doug, which is this very credible, or at least the person who was supposed to be at the, well, you explain it.
Well, the other issue, and I'll get into this briefly, was there was a State Department official who said, and again, without corroboration, but he made a specific assertion that Hillary Clinton's staff, led by Cheryl Mills, her chief of staff, were selectively pruning documents from what was given to the Accountability Review Board. Now, those are very serious allegations. We'll undoubtedly discuss them more on Political Insiders, 7:30 on Sunday with Harris Faulkner on the Fox News channel. Thanks for tuning in.